Hi YouTube, welcome to Mr. Dodo 8449. I'm just going to do a little care video on my third pet. I have got my fourth ones coming, and I'm going to do a little care video on those when they arrive. But these here are my gerbils. I don't think there's anything really special about these ones. They're just normal gerbils I picked up from my local pet store about £6 or $10 US, around that sort of price. I then built well, these are actually my third pair of these. So I used to keep them in this white metal cage, so it's well vented and everything. It used to be one that had these plastic beds, bases in it with plastic shelves, but after only about 2 months they managed to eat most of it. Most of the plastic was gone, so I had to replace it with these little wooden ones. A bit easy to see in that light. These little wooden ones, they've got 3 levels, one little ladder going from the bottom level to the middle level. Gerbils can actually jump quite high and far, so they jump from the ground to the first one, and then from the middle to the top one. That's why I haven't got any ladders there. But yeah, once they'd eaten the top, they decided to start eating the bed, the base even. So quite quickly that disappeared, which meant I had to find some other way of storing them. Now I did at one point just have a flat piece of wood that was set underneath, and then I used wire fixings. I'm not quite sure what they are, I haven't got any on me, that you use to hold wires to walls and ceilings and stuff. I just used those to hold it down. That worked well for a while until I decided to add some proper, well, a lot of bedding, and then it used to just fall out everywhere in a massive mess. So this is cage Mark III, and is what I've done is I've found a large 30-gallon fish tank, or it's a 20-gallon fish tank, and is what I've done with it is I went and found some child's play sand. It's safe to, well, it's not really safe to eat as such, but it's safer than just sand from a beach. This sand here I then cleaned up and checked it was all okay, and oh, there she's come out finally. That's my second gerbil in the back. She's a bit more browner colour, and then I got one here. This is the white one you saw earlier, that's just digging a hole. The reason I put the sand in is actually for that very reason. It was so they could dig. Gerbils like to dig tunnels and run around and stuff like that. So what I decided to do was, instead of having paper, I'd use a mixture of sand, chopped up paper, and a few twigs and bits of wood in there. Now the reason for the paper and bits of wood is to make the chance of cave-ins a lot less. Cave-in it's basically the sand would, if you know, whenever you go onto a beach and you dig a hole, the sides of it keep collapsing in. So the only way I've discovered to stop that was to add pieces of wood at certain levels, so you can't quite see it, it's a bit mucked up now, but sand, paper, sand, and then another layer of paper up there, and right in the middle going across here is pieces of wood, but I believe they've eaten it all, as you can see there. They've nibbled on it. But yeah, that's the bedding I use. Now this sand here, it does keep its temperature quite well, so when they dig down they create a nest. I think their nest is about here, you can just about see it there, and they've created a nest in there with extra paper I added. That keeps them nice and warm. Then obviously they've got levels where they can dig around over here and tunnels and stuff. So yeah, that's my basic cage. As you can see, it's quite a tall one. From the bottom of the cage to the top of the cage, I'd say it's about 1 metre high, 100 centimetres high. That gives them a lot of height to climb and stuff like that. Now, actually caring for gerbils, they basically need 3 things even. They need somewhere to create a nest to sleep in, They also need something to drink, which is a water bottle at the back, and they also need, if I can get to it, food. Now, it's all I use for food. I buy it from my local store. It's just quite simple, dry mix. Dried sunflower seeds in there, bits of sweet corn, a few pieces of pellet stuff, and that's quite a healthy mixture. That is all I do, is I sprinkle it everywhere. Just about to see it there. Some up there, all down and all around the bottom. The reason for this is it's a bad idea to feed your gerbils from a bowl like you would with some other pets. The reason being, one, is they keep burying the bowl so you can't find it, and two, it's more natural for them to find a pile of something and then pick up what they want and just eat from it instead of like digging through a bowl. A bit unnatural now. So yeah, if you do plan on getting gerbils, or actually in fact any other rodents, little rodents like this, it's always better to create a high spot like this where it's not in the bedding, it's out of the way, but you just scatter food on it at different levels and stuff. A bit more natural, and it makes them sort of forage for food. You can also just throw food on the surface on the top up here. That makes it a bit more of a challenge almost for them to find the food. There's one little bit of red right in the middle there. That's a piece of food I threw down earlier. Clearly they haven't found it yet. So yeah, that's about food. They can eat fruit and stuff. Occasionally I give mine apples and carrots, just diced up quite small, and they'll pick up and just eat those nice and fresh. If you train your gerbils or rodents, you can actually make it so they will eat out of your hand. This one, little white one here, is a bit more of a... she's not shy, she's a bit better at coming to your hand. The brown one, I think she's hiding back here underneath. She's a bit more timid, and she doesn't really come out as much as the other one. So quite lucky actually to see her in the video. Right then, the third thing I said about was the water, which is in the back there. Oops, sorry. Now, is all I use for the water is a 150ml hamster drinking bottle. It's one of those that's got a ball in the end, and as they lick it, a little drop of water comes out. So that there is actually hanging off one of these little ladders. These little ladders here, I think just about see it in the back. I decided to use that as it was the easiest way I could find to attach it. Because that's the only one problem I found, is there was nowhere to attach the water bottle. I couldn't attach it at the top because this distance here is far too high for them to get to. So I decided to sacrifice one of their little ladder things, which is why they have to jump up now. And I've used two pieces of string. See if you can just see it maybe from this angle. You can see one piece of string just near the pit, just above the word hamster, and the other one is just underneath the red, just before the neck. Those two pieces of string, they don't nibble on them, which is quite handy. And that there holds the water bottle there. All I use is just standard tap water that I use. I've forgotten what it's called now. Stuff to clear the water of chlorine and anything like that to make it pure, or you can just go out and buy distilled or natural spring water and use that, make it a bit more safe. So yeah, there's not much more to say about these. They don't need basking spots or heat lamps or anything like that you need with reptiles. They don't need anywhere they can swim or any permanent water like you do with fish and turtles. If you're wanting a first pet, I would really seriously recommend a small rodent of some form. Gerbils, I find, or hamsters, are the most common. You can keep mice, which is basically a smaller version of gerbils, long tails, a bit more pointy noses, and the other one is rats, which you can keep. They're a bit bigger. They're more likely to bite you is the other reason, so you need to sort of maybe do a bit more research on them. But yeah, there's not really much more to say actually. Just say the same things again. They need some distilled or natural spring water. They need their food to be placed dotted all over the cage dotted all over the cage and not in a bowl, and they need something to dig under to create themselves a nest. The best thing for a nest, I said earlier, was a bit of paper, cardboard, and then they also need something which they can dig through. In this case I've used sand. You can use mud or peat that you have to cook first to kill anything that's nasty in the soil that may harm them. They don't need any plants or anything like that. You can go to your local pet shop and quite literally just walk in and buy I didn't actually buy one. They're basically just a little set which will come with a cage looking like this one up here, the white one, with plastic pieces on it, possibly a little circular tube that will come out and go down about here somewhere that they can run through. You can also get a water bottle with that, a feeding bowl, paper or hay or straw substrate for bedding, and some pet shops will actually do a deal where you can get one animal free. So yeah, if you are looking for a gerbil, the best thing I would say to you is go to your local pet shop. Just buy yourself a smaller enclosure. I think a 10-gallon tank for one, which is about half of this. If you're planning on keeping two, you want a 20-gallon tank. Any more than about 4, you'd want a 30-gallon tank, and so on like that. So yeah, thanks for watching. I'll just give you a few more shots of what this looks like. Check out my other videos of my other pets, and please subscribe now. Sorry about that, actually that will probably be the wrong way on the video.